This is a Leaving Cert higher level exam paper question. It's a long question based on logs, and it's the type of logs question that comes up a lot year to year. It's a very repetitive type of question that they like to ask. So if you can get your head around this one, because it's a likely question to come up and it doesn't change much when it does come up. Okay, as we can see here, there is a lot of words. It's a very wordy question. Now, if we just go through it, we'll see that a lot of the words are not very relevant. So this first paragraph here, not very relevant. We're not even going to look at it. Then we've got population of students, not very relevant. This here is very important. This is the formula they're giving us. We're going to be using it a lot. Here they just explain the formula a bit. T is time in weeks. That's important. On the first day to study, 4 students. So 4 students on the first day. That's important. Displaying flu symptoms. That's just what this formula is all about. But for the maths part of it, we don't really need to know the background all that much. After 7 weeks, 23 students. Okay. What we're now going to do is, part A is saying use this information to show that A is equal to 4 and B is equal to 0.25. Well, let's just write down our formula that we were given. P of T equals A, E, B, T. But we are given some information here. We know that on the first day there's 4 students. What's the time on the first day? How many weeks have passed? 0. So the time is going to be 0. So when time equals 0, students equals 4. Okay? So P of 0 equals AE, B multiplied by 0 equals 4. Now, B multiplied by 0 is going to be 0, so that will become AE to the 0 equals 4. But if you look at page 21 of your logbooks, anything to the power of 0 is 1. So that's A multiplied by 1 equals 4. So A equals 4 as required. That's what we were asked to find in the question. Now, to find B equals 0.25, we are going to do something very similar using the second bit of information we were given here in the question. We were told that when time is 7, T equals 7 weeks, the number of students is 23. Okay, so we'll just fill all of that into our formula again. So P, time is 7, so we'll put in 7, equals A, but we now know A is 4, so we could write 4 E, B to the power of 7, putting in our time there again, and that should all be equal to 23, our number of students. So 4E to the 7B equals 23. We'll now just use a bit of algebra. We'll divide both sides by 4. So we'll get E to the 7B equals 23 over 4. What we're now going to do is use a log. So on page 21 of your logs tables, if you look at the top right, we've got the general rule for how to convert an index to a log form. An index is something that has a power. So we're going to go log to the base E of our answer 23 over 4 equals 7b. So pop all of this in a calculator. We get log to the base E of 23 over 4. We're getting 1.75 equals 7b, 1.75 7b. So divide both sides by 7 to get b. And we're getting 0.25 equals b as required. So part B wants us to find the number of students who displayed symptoms after 15 weeks. Okay, we're going to use our formula again. So let's write down our formula. It is P of T equals AE, but we know A is 4, so we're going to put that in. 4 times E, and BT, but we know that B is 0.25, so we'll put that in. Okay. They want us to find a number of students who displayed flu symptoms after 15 weeks. What is 15 weeks? That's going to be our time, T. So we can fill that in for T. For E, 0.25, 15. We can now just pop all of this into the calculator and we're going to get our number of students. Now, don't get confused by E. It's not something like in algebra where you have x and you have to do algebra or something with the x. E is actually a number. It's like pi. You know how pi is equal to 3.14. If you put e into the calculator on its own, you're going to get 2.72. So it's actually, that's the number. So just pop all of that into your calculator. So we're getting 170.08. Don't forget to round to the nearest whole number because you can't have 0.08 of a student. And what's the number of students? The answer is going to be 170 students. All right. Part C is very, very similar. But it says how many weeks did it take for 50 students? Okay, up here it said find the number of students in 15 weeks, but here it's saying find the number of weeks for 50 students. So we're looking for time, not the number of students. So PT, we don't know what T is, equals 4E 0.25 T. That should all be equal to 50 because this whole formula is to figure out the number of students. So divide both sides by 4. We get e to the 0.25 t equals 50 divided by 4 is 25 over 2. So as we did similar before in part A, remember we used the basic rule of logs where we said log to the base e of the answer, which is 25 over 2, equals 0.25 t. Okay, pop all of this into your calculator. So log to the base e, 25 over 2. And we're getting 2.53 is equal to 0.25 t. And now finally divide both sides by 0.25. So that's just a bit of algebra. We're getting 10.1 equals t. But, careful, it says correct to the nearest whole number. So our answer is going to be 10 weeks. And there you have it. That is that whole long question answered. Just to demonstrate that this type of question comes up quite often, here we've got another exam paper question from another year. And again, you can see the exact same formula. B of t equals AEBT, right? So it's a very similar question. Even if we look down, how many bacteria will be present after 10 hours? How long will it take for 15? That's almost the exact same question, just a different scenario and different numbers that we're working with. So you can see you should now have no problem doing this question. So if you want to actually take it down and pause the video here maybe and have a go at it, it's using what we just did in this question. So that type of question comes up quite a lot. So if you have any questions about this, let me know in the comments. And subscribe to see more Leaving Cert higher level solutions like this.